AS3533.4.1, Section 10, Small Space Entrapment. This is a difficult section. You have to use the appendix to understand how to test things, etc. And it's all to do with making sure that there aren't tight spaces where you could imagine a scarf. I'm not sure anyone would be wearing a scarf, but a scarf being caught in something as somebody went through because it was a narrow space and it got wrapped around something that was like a rope or netting or something along those lines. Or if you have small areas to get through, is it sufficient give so that somebody doesn't sort of actually get caught up in it or something along those lines? There's tests to do for it. It is very technical, the idea of cylindrical space, etc. I'm going to skip over most of it, just give you a very brief overview. So the Appendix E has various shaped objects to pass through something. In some cases, a smaller one, this won't pass through, and if it does, then the bigger one must pass through. You can imagine that for netting, where the netting either has to be small enough openings so that people can't get their little pinkies caught in them, or if they are going to be bigger than that, then they have to be big enough so that their hands can get through them and out again without it trapping and someone getting caught in it, something along those lines. It talks about the testing for this with those objects. Again, quite technical, but I can't imagine many bouncy castles failing this. And in some ways, you just have to take the manufacturer at their word that it does this. You can imagine the average bouncy castle is just bouncing and it's open. Might have a few obstacles that you're not going to get caught in. Might have stairs going up. You're not going to get caught in, except imagine if you had steps going up and a slide coming down. If the netting or something like that was of the wrong sort of size and someone could get again, the scarf type analogy, if their scarf got caught in something that when they went down the slide, that was still caught in netting or something along those lines. I think it is very difficult to manufacture something like that, and I certainly am not aware of anything I've ever seen from us or anybody else where that would be an issue. So the netting bit, either you can't get an 8mm through or you can get a 25mm through, and they specify the size of the rod and the force which it must be pushed through. Body entrapment, this is perhaps older style castles, but it would happen on obstacle courses, something like that. You have a wall going across and then maybe another wall which is or pillar at right angles or something like that, and between the inflatable wall and the pillar there's a gap, and that gap may be filled with just a piece of material going across so that it forms a wall so that people can't fall out, but it also forms a nook, a crevice or something that somebody could wedge themselves in. So there are criteria which say how much force someone would have to push to get in, which I guess is a force they need to get out as well. You know, if it's very loose and everything, then someone could get in and get out, no problem. But you could imagine a small child pushing their way through, then becoming trapped in that little sort of corner and not having the strength to push themselves out. And so this dictates that. Again, lots of technical issues to do with that, and it deals with the sort of things you would use to test it. This is a very wishy-washy one. That's all I'm going to say about it because it is just too technical.